Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly attract quality women while others struggle no matter what they do? Is it about money, looks, charm, or is there something deeper at play? What if I told you that the secret to attracting the right woman isn't about what you have, but who you are? Intrigued? Stick around, because today we're diving into the psychology of attraction, the power of Stoicism, and how you can transform yourself into the kind of man who naturally draws women in. Before we get started, if you're ready to level up your life and relationships, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel for more life-changing insights. Let's get into it. 1. The truth about attraction. Let's get one thing straight. Attraction isn't about flexing your bank account, memorizing pickup lines, or pretending to be someone you're not. Most men are playing a losing game because they don't even know the rules. Here's the hard truth. Women aren't drawn to what you have. They're drawn to who you are. Sure, success and looks might catch their eye, but they won't hold their interest. A high-quality woman, someone who's emotionally mature, intelligent and confident, sees right through the act. She's wired to look deeper. She's drawn to strength, stability and leadership. Not dominance, not arrogance, but a man who's grounded, a man who doesn't need her approval to feel worthy. Think about it. If attraction was just about wealth or status, why do so many rich, famous men get cheated on or divorced? Because attraction runs deeper than surface-level traits. Women, especially those who value themselves, are instinctively drawn to qualities like confidence, emotional intelligence, and self-respect. If you don't have those, no amount of external success will make up for it. So, what's the solution? It's simple. Stop chasing and start building. Develop yourself into the kind of man who naturally attracts rather than desperately seeks. The key is inner stability. When you're rooted in who you are, when you live by principles rather than external validation, your presence becomes magnetic. Instead of trying to impress, start embodying qualities that make a lasting impact. Develop a strong sense of purpose, master your emotions, and cultivate self-discipline. These are the things that separate men who attract from those who chase. Attraction isn't a trick. It's a byproduct of your character. Work on yourself, and the right people will gravitate toward you effortlessly. 2. The power of virtue over vanity. Modern culture screams at us, get the six-pack, buy the luxury watch, take those exotic vacations. And yeah, those things might grab attention for a moment, but they're not what makes someone stay. A high-value woman isn't looking at your highlight reel. She's looking at your character. Virtue is your superpower, not in the nice guy way where you bend over backward to please everyone, but in the way you live by principles, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-mastery. Let's break this down. Wisdom means you don't react emotionally to every situation. You think before you speak. You learn from your mistakes. You approach life with curiosity instead of arrogance. Courage means you stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. You're not afraid of confrontation, but you don't seek it out either. You move forward despite fear. Justice means you treat people with fairness and integrity. You don't manipulate, deceive, or take advantage of others. You hold yourself to a higher standard. Self-mastery means you control your emotions, your impulses, and your actions. You don't let external circumstances dictate your mood or behavior. You lead yourself first. Imagine this. You're on a date. Instead of boasting about your income or your car, you share a story about a time you faced a tough decision and chose the right path, even when it was hard. That's the kind of story that makes her eyes light up. Because it's not about the struggle, it's about the strength it took to do what was right. Now, compare that to the guy who just talks about his possessions or his gym routine. Sure, those things might get a reaction, but they don't build real connection. Real attraction is built on respect and admiration. When a woman sees that you have discipline, integrity, and a clear purpose, she'll naturally be drawn to you. So, here's the question. Are you focusing on vanity or virtue? Are you trying to impress with things that fade, or are you building the kind of character that stands the test of time? If you want to attract someone of value, you need to become someone of value. Work on your virtues, and the right people will notice. This is just the beginning. In the next chapters, we'll dive even deeper into the principles of Stoicism and how they can transform your relationships. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. 3. Authenticity wins every time. Let's get one thing straight. Women know when you're faking it. They can feel it. And the moment they sense you're putting on an act, their attraction disappears instantly. Why? Because authenticity is magnetic. People, especially women, are wired to pick up on incongruence. When your words, body language, and energy don't align, they instinctively sense that something is off. It's not necessarily something they can articulate, but it creates a feeling of distrust. And trust is the foundation of attraction. What does it mean to be authentic? Being authentic doesn't mean sharing every thought that crosses your mind or being brutally honest to the point of insensitivity. It means being true to yourself, your values, your interests, your boundaries, without seeking approval. Confidence isn't about acting a certain way, it's about being comfortable in your own skin. The kind of man women respect doesn't change his opinions to please others. He doesn't try to impress by flashing things he doesn't even care about. He's the same guy whether he's with his friends, his family, or the woman he's dating. The pitfalls of seeking validation. A man who constantly seeks validation loses his sense of self. He morphs into whatever he thinks will earn him approval, agreeing with opinions he doesn't truly hold, engaging in activities he doesn't enjoy, and pretending to be someone he's not. Over time, this creates deep insecurity because he's living for external approval rather than his own internal compass. Women respect a man who knows himself. If you're always looking for someone else to tell you that you're enough, you never will be. True confidence comes from within, not from likes, compliments, or attention. How to cultivate authenticity. 1. Get clear on your values. What do you truly believe? What kind of life do you want to live? If you don't have answers, take time to reflect and define them. 2. Stop people-pleasing. It's fine to be considerate, but bending over backward to avoid conflict or win favor makes you seem weak. Stand your ground. 3. Own your interests. Love reading philosophy? Enjoy video games? Into obscure music? Own it. The right person will appreciate you for who you are. 4th, be consistent. If you act differently around different groups of people, you're being inauthentic. The more you align your behavior with your true self, the more natural confidence you exude. So ask yourself, who are you really? What do you stand for? Because if you don't know, you'll always be playing a role, hoping someone else will validate you. But the moment you own your truth, live by your values, and stop seeking approval, everything changes. 4. Emotional resilience, your secret weapon. Life isn't a movie, and love isn't some scripted romance where everything falls into place effortlessly. When things get tough, Women pay attention to how you handle it. You know what's unattractive? A man who falls apart over the smallest inconvenience, a man who loses his temper because the waiter got his order wrong, a man who sulks, complains, or lets his emotions dictate his actions. Why? Because emotional instability signals weakness, and weakness, especially emotional weakness, is one of the fastest ways to lose respect. What is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is your ability to handle stress, setbacks, and challenges without losing your composure. It's not about pretending you don't feel anything, it's about controlling your emotions instead of letting them control you. A strong, emotionally resilient man doesn't blow up when things don't go his way, shut down or withdraw when faced with a challenge, make excuses or blame others for his problems, get overly attached to outcomes and spiral when things don't go as planned. Instead, he remains grounded, adapts, and keeps moving forward. Why emotional resilience is attractive. Women instinctively look for a man they can rely on. If you crumble under pressure, it signals that you can't be trusted to handle real-life challenges, whether that's an argument, financial difficulty, or an unexpected crisis. Resilience shows leadership. It shows that you have control over yourself and, by extension, your environment. That level of control is incredibly attractive because it creates a sense of safety and stability. How to build emotional resilience. 1. Control your reactions. When something frustrates you, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most things aren't. 2. Take responsibility. If something goes wrong, don't blame others. Own it, learn from it, and move on. Excuses are for weak men. 3. Develop a growth mindset. See challenges as opportunities to grow instead of as personal attacks. Every setback is a lesson. 4th, build emotional discipline. Practice staying calm in difficult situations, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply training yourself to respond rather than react. Learn to control your emotions. 5. Surround yourself with strong people. The people around you influence your mindset. If you're surrounded by complainers and emotional wrecks, their habits will rub off on you. Choose wisely. Emotional resilience is your secret weapon. It's what separates men who command respect from men who are merely tolerated. Master it, and you'll notice a shift, not just in how women see you, but in how the world treats you. 5. Boundaries. The key to self-respect. A man without boundaries is a man without self-respect. And a man without self-respect. No woman, no matter how attracted she is at first, will ever truly respect him. Setting boundaries isn't about being rude or controlling. It's about standing firm in who you are, what you believe in, and what you will and won't accept in your life. It's about saying, this is me, these are my standards, and I won't compromise them. Boundaries act as the invisible framework that defines who you are. They tell the world what is acceptable and what isn't. They dictate how people should treat you, and more importantly, they communicate the level of self-respect you have. Without them, you become a leaf in the wind, easily swayed, lacking direction, and at the mercy of others' whims. When a man has no boundaries, he is seen as weak. He becomes a people-pleaser, someone who prioritizes the comfort of others over his own self-respect. He allows disrespect, justifies bad behavior, and slowly erodes his own sense of worth. And the paradox is that while he might think he's gaining favor, he's actually losing respect from others and from himself. Women test men not because they want to break them, but because they want to see if they are unbreakable. It's an instinctive way of determining whether a man is truly grounded in his values. If you constantly yield, make excuses, or allow disrespect, you send a clear message. You are not someone who stands firm. And the moment a woman loses respect for a man, attraction soon follows. Healthy boundaries are not about being rigid or uncompromising. They are about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. They are about enforcing standards that align with your values, ensuring that those who wish to be in your life meet those standards, and those who do not, they naturally fall away. One of the most powerful things a man can say is no. No to being taken for granted, no to being treated poorly, no to sacrificing his values for temporary approval. When you say no, you are not just rejecting a situation, you are affirming yourself. Setting boundaries is a skill, one that requires courage and consistency. It may push some people away, but those who stay will respect you more for it. Because ultimately, boundaries are not just about keeping others in check. They are about defining yourself in a world that constantly tries to define you. 6. Amor fati. Love your fate. Own your growth. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, let it all go. Because the truth is, rejection isn't what breaks most men, it's their response to it. A high-value man doesn't see rejection as something to fear. He sees it as fuel. He understands that every setback, every failure, every closed door is a lesson, a redirection, a step forward. This is what the Stoics called amor fati, love your fate. Not just accepting what happens, but embracing it, loving it, seeing every challenge as a necessary part of becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The reality is, no one escapes adversity. No one goes through life without loss, failure, or disappointment. But what separates those who thrive from those who crumble is mindset. Most people resist hardship, complain about their circumstances, and view setbacks as signs to give up. But those who practice amor fati see struggle as an opportunity. Every rejection carries a lesson. Every failure contains wisdom. Every heartbreak forces growth. When you embrace amor fati, you shift from a victim mentality to an empowered one. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of retreating in fear, you advance with courage. A man who embodies amor fati does not break under pressure. He adapts, evolves, and finds meaning in his challenges. He understands that pain is not a punishment, it is a teacher. That obstacles are not barriers, they are stepping stones. The world respects a man who owns his fate, who does not crumble under rejection, but uses it to refine himself, who sees every closed door not as an end, but as an invitation to find a better path. When you learn to love your fate, you stop fearing the unknown, you stop resisting change, and you step fully into the power of your own becoming. Rejection will come, failure will happen, but what matters is how you respond. Will you let it define you, or will you use it to rise higher than before? Embrace everything, love your fate, own your growth. That is the mark of a truly strong man. 7. The confidence of quiet power. Real confidence isn't about being the loudest guy in the room. It's not about cracking jokes, making a spectacle of yourself, or trying to dominate every conversation. That's not confidence. That's insecurity in disguise, a mask worn by those who crave validation. They seek attention, hoping that the noise they create will fill the emptiness inside. But true confidence doesn't need validation. It exists independently of external approval. The kind of confidence that truly attracts high-value women is quiet, unshakable, effortless. It's the confidence of a man who knows his worth, not because of what he owns, not because of how many people laugh at his jokes, but because of who he is at his core. This kind of man doesn't need to prove himself because he already knows where he stands. His presence alone speaks volumes. This quiet power is rare. Most men are taught that they need to be flashy, assertive, or even aggressive to get noticed. They believe they must be the loudest voice in the room to be respected. But that's not true leadership. It's desperation. The man who walks with quiet confidence is the one people respect the most. He's the one whose approval matters because he gives it sparingly and only when it's earned. When you embody this kind of confidence, something shifts. You stop chasing because you don't need to. You stop trying to impress because you don't seek approval. You understand that your value isn't dictated by who gives you attention. It's dictated by the standards you set for yourself. And when that happens, women start noticing you, not because you're performing for them, but because your energy speaks for itself. You become the kind of man they are drawn to, not the one desperately vying for their affection. This is why the most magnetic men are often the ones who say the least. They listen more than they talk. They observe more than they react. They don't rush to prove themselves because they already know their worth. And that self-assurance is intoxicating. Women are naturally drawn to a man who moves with purpose, who doesn't need to be seen, but is impossible to ignore. So, how do you cultivate this quiet confidence? It starts with self-awareness. Understand who you are beyond external achievements. Build discipline. Develop a strong sense of purpose. Focus on becoming a man of value, not to impress others, but to fulfill your own potential. When you become the kind of man who commands respect by his very existence, everything changes. So here's the challenge. Stop chasing women and start chasing your purpose. Become the kind of man who stands out not by what he says, but by who he is. When you do that, the right women will start gravitating toward you, not because you're pursuing them, but because you've built yourself into someone worth pursuing. If this resonated with you, drop an "I'm ready" in the comments below. Let's build a community of men who are done chasing and ready to rise. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.